Hey everybody, this is DJ Metalwargod from Metal Uprising on SonicAsylumRadio.com, and welcome to my metal mail update and various stuff number 4. Today was another mail day. Got some stuff in the mail. This time a little bit more stuff and good stuff, brand new release stuff, and I'm sure some of you are going to be surprised because yesterday what I had showed you, got the Gravedigger, and people were wondering how I got it so fast. I'm just the war god. I'm just the metal war god. You know, I get it. So anyway, new stuff right up here in Horizon is brand new Rebellion. The history of the Saxons. I think this is their 7th release. Don't ask me to pronounce this word, but I would assume that it means the history of the Saxons. They're on the Massacre record label, so check it out. Good stuff. And finally, I got the new Death Dealer, Hollow Ground. Of course, I had Sean Cage on Metal Uprising last night, and for those of you who didn't catch it, I do have a podcast of the interview going up on my Facebook site. And anyway, this is the new Death Dealer, Hollowed Ground, and it's on a Swedish metal group label, so good stuff there. And this, I know they said the US release was going to go back to October 30th, but I got it today. Saxon Battering Ram on vinyl. It's a gatefold, 10 tracks. Can't go wrong with it. I mean, I love Saxon, everything they've done, and this really, to me, has a feel of probably going back 15 years to when they released Unleash the Beast. I think this is very reminiscent of that, but I think this is a little bit heavier than that. But in all, I think it has the same feel, the same vibe, but you know, you can't go wrong with Saxon. The last 15 years, they've been putting out some of the best heavy metal they've ever written and recorded. So yeah, Saxon Battering Ram. Now I'm going to go back a little bit in time here. I'm going to go back into the 70s and a little bit of the 80s with some vinyl that I do have. But first off, I'm a collector of Tommy Bolin material, whether it's his early days with Energy, Zephyr, James Gang, Deep Purple, Moxie, Billy Cobham, Alphonse Mouzon, and his solo stuff. But anyway, he died in '76, and must have been, let's see if I can get this, '89 this came out. This is Tommy Bolin, The Ultimate. And it's a kind of a rare retrospective featuring rare text and photography. It's a CD, not an album, and it's very cool. Has a huge book in there like that. Backside, Tommy Bolin. I mean, it's just a great book. It has a history of Tommy Bolin. I mean, you can't go wrong with it, and of course. It has the 2 CDs, and you know, I have just about everything and anything Tommy Bolin, and so I don't even know if you can get this set in the market anymore. I know it's quite rare. I've had this for many years, well, since it first came out in '89, so it's been 26 years I've had this. So good luck in finding this if you can find it. It's a good addition if you're a Tommy Bolin fan. Playing in the background, I have a band called Black Blitz out of Germany, and their album Louder Than Thunder. Kind of a AC/DC vibe going on. Check them out. So now I'm going to go back into the 80s and the 70s with some of my collection that I have, and many of you are going to say, what? This band? Creed? Yes, Creed. The original Creed. And I can't remember the year, but I'm almost sure this is like, let's see here, 1978 for this album. And killer 70s hard rock. If you ever happen to get it, check it out. It's just great stuff. And people probably don't know that this was the original Creed and the best Creed ever. Now, back into the 70s even a little more. So Max Webster with Live Magnetic Air. And of course, Kim Mitchell on vocals. Probably the most recognizable band member in Max Webster. Of course, he went on and did some solo material himself, which is fantastic stuff as well. But this is Live Magnetic Air from 1978 on the Capitol Records label. And probably one of my favorites from Max Webster, Universal Juveniles. And this came out in 1980. And it has Check Check on it, it has Chalkers, Battle Scar. Just a solid release from beginning to end. I mean, it's just killer hard rock. You can maybe consider some of it maybe a little bit of metal, but nonetheless, great album from 1980. And some more Max Webster, A Million Vacations. And this is also on the Capitol Records label. This came out in '79. And I mean, early Max Webster was probably the best. They put out 5-6 albums. And all these are all original. Again, they're out of Canada, so you know, they should have been bigger than they were, but they weren't. But still, nonetheless, great band. And not too many people really have a lot of Brownsville Station. Of course, people are always know Brownsville Station from Smoking in the Boys' Room, and of course Motley Crue did this song, cover song of this, and to me this is the epitome of all Brownsville Station, the self-titled album. And I mean, it has probably one of my favorite songs ever is The Martian Boogie, and 7 minutes long. I've played it on my show a few times, and it's just a crazy song. And of course, let's see, I'm thinking of Cub Coda was the vocalist of this band, and of course this came out in 1977. You know, I see copies around here and there, and I might see some this Saturday. I'm going to be going to a record show up in Fargo, so check it out, Brownsville Station. Yes, I play this on my show a lot. My favorite album from Baker Gurvit's Army, Elation Encounter. This is a gatefold edition, and I think this came out in 1973 if I'm not mistaken. Great stuff. Adrian Gurvitz. And 1975, excuse me, 1975. Adrian Gurvitz, Ginger Baker. I mean, awesome cover work. I mean, some of the most fantastic cover work back in the early days that you could ever see. Baker Gurvit's Army, Elation Encounter. And of course, my intro to Baker Gurvit's Army was the self-titled album. And this also came out in 1975. I mean, look at the covers. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And the concept they come up with back in the early days. And you know, if this one has, let's see, Mad Jack, probably the most recognizable song on this one. Anyway, there is Baker Gurvit's Army. So So now I'm going to get into something a little bit different. Of course, back in my days we had a lot of these, and I had a lot of them in the 80s. And I'm speaking of cassettes. I mean, I must have 600 cassettes, but these are mostly metal cassettes that I have. Well, this one I consider more hard rock. This is the Zoo with Shaking the Cage. Of course, those that are not familiar with the Zoo, this is with Mick Fleetwood on drums. Very killer hard rock album from these guys. I mean, it is a great album. If you have never heard the Zoo, I highly recommend you check them out. Another band, Roxy Blue. Kind of well, you could probably put them in the glam category. But this is Want Some. It's actually quite hard to find nowadays, especially on CD. Then I'm trying to see the year this came out, actually. Not really, you know, I hate sometimes when you don't see the dates on there. But I know it was probably the mid-80s with Roxy Blue. And a band that I think people really dissed a lot back in the 80s, a band called Asphalt Ballet. And this one is their self-titled. I think this is a killer cassette tape, and I think it's some of the best stuff they did. Hell's Kitchen, Soul Survive, Tuesday's Rain, Unlucky Mr. Lucky. I don't know why people just didn't like this band. I mean, they had some good tunes out there. I mean, so this is Asphalt Ballet. And some pawn shop finds. God, it must have been 10 years ago I found these. Some Leather Wolf with Street Ready. And of course, this came out in 1989. And, you know, you don't see a lot of this stuff around anymore, but cassettes are really starting to make a comeback again, just like vinyl is. So check it out. Another band that people really kind of dissed, didn't really care for. I love the guy. I love this band. They're out of Germany, Skew Siskin. And of course, this is their self-titled album. And I think the song that stands out the most about this band on this particular CD or cassette is If the Walls Could Talk. A staple on Headbangers Ball back in the 80s, you know, and you know, to this day people still don't like the band. I love the band. I mean, great with Nina Cialis on vocals. I mean, great stuff. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. Let's see here. Okay, Angel City or the Angels or whatever they went by a few times, but I know them as Angel City. And this is 2 Minute Warning. And this one, let's see, this came out. God, no. See, I hate when I can't find dates, and I can't remember the dates because I'm getting older. So therefore, dates are kind of way in the back of the mind, and they're hard to get to the front of the mind. So anyway, here is Angel City with 2 Minute Warning. And let's see here. I got a whole bunch more here. I happened to get these through a sale that Metal Blade was having a number of years ago, and I think I bought the cassettes for like 50 cents to $1. I mean, what the hell? Can't go wrong. They still play, and they're just like brand new. Of course, I got Anvil, Past and Present. Of course, I got it on CD. I don't have it on vinyl yet. I should have, but I don't. And anyway, Anvil, Past and Present. And here we have Anna Crucis with Maniac Impressions. And again, great stuff, great stuff. You can't go wrong with it. Again, another one of those bands on the Metal Blade, or what Metal Blade had when they were trying to get rid of their stock. And then Sarah Thungal with One Foot in Hell. And of course, you don't know who Sirith Ungol is, they're again on the Metal Blade Records. This came out in 1986, and you know, again, it's one of those that I got in one of those special buys. And then I have Masquerade with Surface of Pain on cassette. You know, I haven't played these a lot. Again, you know, it's a collectability standpoint with me, and so anyway, another one on the Metal Blades record. Intruder with Escape from Pain, another Metal Blades release, and I'm not even sure if you can even find half of these cassettes. You know, I mean, from the 80s, great covers. So here is Intruder. And here is Tattoo with Blood Red. And this came out, let's see, 1988 on the Metal Blades Records. I mean, there's just, you can't go wrong with stuff. Stuff's like brand new to me. I mean, hardly ever worn or played on occasion. But anyway, here's Blood Red, or Tattoo, excuse me. Here is Hammer with Mind and Body. So good stuff here. Another Metal Blade band. Back in them early days of the 80s, you know, Metal Blade signed a lot of killer bands, and you know, some of them you may have heard, and some of you may have not heard. But I would probably say a lot of you have heard of what I'm showing you now. So check it out. And here is Trouble with the Skull, a Metal Blade release. And you know, it's, again, hardly used, hardly played in my collection. You know, I got a lot of stuff in my collection, tapes, CDs, vinyl, DVDs. So anyway, here is Trouble. And Hallows Eve, Tales of Terror. Good stuff here. And you know, you can't go wrong with the stuff. I mean, eventually maybe you may not play, but again, that's due because well, of course you can overuse it if you play it a lot, and you know, then you got to buy a new one. But anyway, like I say, I got these at a special buy, and I picked them up. Here is Bitter End with Harsh Realities on the Metal Blade record. More of a thrash band here, so good stuff. Band called Outcry, and this is actually, they are actually a local band, but they're not on the Metal Blades. I forgot I had this. This is a local band. They're out of Fergus Falls, and which is that way from me. 20 miles, and I forgot I even had this. But anyway, here's a band called Outcry. And then, very hard one to get, a band called Gemini out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and this is Out for Blood, Lions Kings, original band back in the 80s, and I mean, this is very, very collectible, very collectible. Not only in CD, vinyl probably, and cassette, so check it out. And then I have Sacrifice, Forward to Termination. And this is actually on Restless Records, but it's distroed through Metal Blade Records. And so anyway, Sacrifice. And here is Nuclear Assault with Survive. So, I mean, killer stuff. Still around. That they put out some new stuff. I believe they put out an EP earlier this year. You can check it out. They come back. A lot of the 80s bands have formed, come back, and recorded material. Most notably, they're still around. Testament, of course, Exodus, Death Angel, 3 bands that come to mind that were from the 80s, kind of disbanded for a while and then came back in the thousands and are still kicking out great heavy metal. So anyway, that is what I have to show you today. In upcoming episodes, I'm going to be starting a videos of everything I have from A to Z, starting with A of course and then ending with Z on CD and vinyl. And then I'm going to do segments on my DVDs that I own and some trinkets that I own, shirts that I own, so you'll have to stick around. I have a lot of good stuff coming up. So anyway, as I always say, keep it loud, keep it heavy, keep it metal, and I will see you next time on Metalwargod's video update. Take care, everybody.